This is a lecture from Open Tuition. For the free lecture notes that go with this podcast, please visit opentuition.com.
This lecture goes through question 1 from the December 2008 P5 exam. That's the question Sentinel Company. You're strongly advised to download the question from the ACCA site because the question is long and it's impossible to show all the detail of the question easily on the screen. So pause the playback now until you get hold of the question, then come back and restart. As always, you should start by going through the requirements so that you are alerted as to what the question is about. So here we're asked to prepare a summary table which shows the points gained or forfeited for each depot. The points table should facilitate the ranking of each depot against the others for each of the 12 measures provided in the appendix. Well, we have no idea what's really being talked about in here, this points table. And in fact, nothing that you ever have studied before or no academic material will actually help you with this part of the question, as we'll see. Part 2, evaluate the relative performance of the 4 depots, as indicated by the analysis and the summary table prepared in the first part of the question. So these two are obviously fairly linked. I assume if we can do one, we can do something about number 2. Assess the company in terms of financial performance, competitiveness, service quality, resource utilization, flexibility and innovation, and discuss the interrelationships between these. So there's a number of things we have to do here. First of all, there is assessing, and then we have to make sure that we cover or try to say something about all of these, and also to discuss the interrelationship between them, incorporating examples. So to get the 10 marks, we're going to have to, in a way, work quite hard. There's financial performance, competitiveness, service quality, resource utilization, flexibility, and innovation. There's 5 qualities there. So presumably it's 2 marks per quality, but we have to look at interrelationship between them and incorporate examples. And then for 5 marks, critiques of the performance measurement of the company. Let's go and see if we can find out anything about these points that may help us with parts 1 and 2. Now, of course, these big questions are very scary. You go into the exam, you're already nervous, and you're confronted with a question which may be unlike anything you've ever seen before. The only thing you can do is to read that as calmly as you can. And you probably have to read it several times because there's a lot of data and information within it. This is where you have to use your 15 minutes reading time very creatively. This is a time when you know you can't write anything other than notes on the question, but you can't start writing your answer. And therefore, you have to try and read the question, as I say, in a relaxed manner. And we'll read it through it here, just so that we make sure that we have covered everything. The Sentinel Company offers a range of door-to-door express delivery services. The company operates using a network of depots and distribution centres throughout the country of England. The following information is available. Each depot is solely responsible for all customers within a specified area. It collects goods from customers within its own area for delivery both within the specific area covered by the depot and elsewhere. Collection made by depot for delivery outside its own area are forwarded to the depots from which the deliveries will be made to customers. Now we should pause here and just think what's happening. We've a number of depots throughout the country. Each collects and delivers locally, and if parcels have to go somewhere else, they go to the local depot. Each depot must therefore integrate its deliveries to customers to include goods that have been collected within its own area and goods that are transferred to it from depots within other areas for delivery to customer in its area. Okay, we understand that. Each depot earns revenue based on the invoiced value of all consignments collected from customers in its area, regardless of the location of the ultimate distribution depot. Now, it's telling us here something about money, so this could well be something which is important. It earns revenue based on the invoiced value of all consignments collected in its area. So you could have, I suppose, a depot that does no collection, that just does deliveries, because nobody dispatches goods from that area, and I wonder how it's therefore going to get any revenue. But anyway, depot costs comprise all of its own operating costs plus an allocated share of all company costs, including centralized admin services and distribution service costs. And maybe we should always just be worried about a little bit of allocated fixed costs, allocated head office fixed costs, because the people to whom it's allocated have no control over that. Bonuses for the management team and all employees at each depot are payable quarterly. The bonus is based on the achievement of a series of target values by each depot. Internal benchmarking is used at TSC in order to provide sets of absolute standards that all depots are expected to attain. So we have some absolute standards. The appendix shows the target values and the actual values achieved for each of a sample of 4 depots situated in 4 places. The target focuses on 3 areas: depot revenue and profitability, customer care and service delivery, credit control and administrative efficiency. The bonus is based on a points system, so at long last the points are mentioned that were in the requirement, which is also used as a guide to the operational effectiveness at each depot. 1 point is allocated where the target value for each item in the appendix is either achieved or exceeded, and 0 where it's not achieved. Now, that's really important. This is completely unique. As I said, you will never ever have come across anything like this before. There's no reason why you should have. It's unique to this company. And what we have to do is to try and follow the instructions given in the question as closely as we can. You're starting from scratch. Let's look at the appendix. So here we have target and actual value statistics for the 4 centers. Revenue and profit. So there we have the actuals and the targets for revenue and for profit. And it says here, note for the purpose of calculation of each depot's points, it is essential that actual profit as a percentage of actual revenue must exceed the target profit percentage. Okay. So there is a profitability set, I think, of let's just check that up here. Yep, depot revenue and profitability. Yep, that's up there. So there is a revenue and profitability set of points, and then we have got down here some other measures. So we've got credit control and admin. We have lost and damaged items. We have this under here, late collection of assignments and so on. So presumably that's going to be falling into some of these other areas. So we have got depot revenue profitability, okay, customer care and service delivery. So customer care and service delivery, I assume is all of this. Yeah, well, it says it here, doesn't it? Customer care and service delivery is, I think, going to be these. And then we have there we are. So we have our 3 sets of measures. We have the financial profit and revenue stuff at the top, then the customer care and service delivery, and then the credit control and administrative efficiency statistics. I think some of these are going to be easier than maybe others to work out. If we manage to exceed the target or reach the target, we're going to be fine. So I think I assume from the question that if you have a target here for late collection of 2%, and you're in area D and it's only getting 1.9%, I think we just have to worry what way around we're going to be here. You must be doing better, so it looks to me like that might be 1 point. Late collection of 1.9 is better than late collection of 2. And similarly here, I think we're going to get 1 point. Delayed response to complaints, that's better. Delays due to vehicle breakdown, that's worse, so it'll be 0 points. Lost items, that'll be 1 point, I think. Damaged items, again, better than the target. This is okay. It's unusual, but it's okay. And remember, all of what I've done so far, you can do in reading time. Looking at this one here, well, that one's worse. That's 2 versus 2.1. It's worse. This one is better. This one is better. This one is worse. This one is better. And this one is worse. 2 to this one. It's better. It's better. It's better. It's better. Ooh. It's better. It's better. M seems to be a... M does seem to be, I think, pretty successful. We may check these again. This one is worse, worse, worse. 1 to 2 worse, worse, and better. I think R doesn't seem to be doing so good there. Let's go down here. Average debtor weeks. That seems to be worse than a target. 4.9 is better than 5.5. That's good, good, bad. A few question marks about there. We have to see what they're going to be dealing with in a moment. Invoice queries. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. So very few invoice queries going along there. So let's go up and have a look at the revenue and profit statistics here. It says here, note for the purpose of calculation of each depot's points is essential actual profit as a percentage of actual revenue must exceed the target profit percentage. I think that probably refers to the profit, not the revenue. So I think probably what we could do, if we just look at the revenue here, that in terms of, if we look at D, in terms of revenue, the actual is below the target, so I think that's 0. This one is above, this one is above, and this one is above. So I think that will be the scores for the revenue performance. I think when it comes to be looking at the profit performance, they're dealing with profit percentages, as they should be, because otherwise you're simply saying we're giving points to the bigger company, the bigger division. You'd have to do this on a percentage basis, wouldn't you, to be fair? So if we look at the profit percentage, the target profit percentage on D, the target profit percentage is 2.4. The target profit percentage is 2.4 over 16. So 2.4 divided by 16 is 15. That's the target. And the actual one is going to be 2.3 over 15. So that's 15.3%. So I think in terms of profit, D is going to be getting 1. 15.3 is better. Yeah. So let's look at it for L. We have got a target 2.1 divided by 14. The percentage there is 15%. This is all the targets down here. This is the L one. And the actual one for L Actual profit is 2.4, and the actual revenue 18. 2.4 divided by 18 is 13.3. So I think that one's going to be 0 in terms of the profitability. For M, the target is 1.8 divided by 12. Is 15. The actual is 2.2 divided by 14 is 15.7. So that'll be a 1 there. And finally, target 2.7 over 18 is 15 again. Oh, they're all 15, aren't they? The actual is 2.8 divided by 22 is 12.7. So it'll be 0. So I think we've got our points in terms of revenue, in terms of profit. We've got most of our points anyway, in terms of all of the customer care and service delivery, in terms of credit control. We've got a lot of them. We have a few little question marks to be looking at, and we'll look at them next. So we've 2 sets of point statistics still to work out. It's number 10 and number 12 here. I think number 12 looks easier. Credit notes as a percentage of revenue, because down here it tells us what the credit notes are, and we already know from above that it told us what the revenue was. So let's just see what that revenue was. The actual revenue is 15, 18, 14, 22. So 15, 18, 14 and 22. And therefore, as a percentage, we are looking at 45,000 and divided by 15 million, I think, times 100. We're coming in there at 0.3%. The target is 0.5%, so that's worth a point. Going through the other ones, this looks like 2%, or 0.2%. This one is going to be 28, so this is again, it's double, 0.2. This one, 132 divided by 22 is 0.06%. So this is going to be 1, 1 and 0, so that's in excess. The final one is debtors in excess of 60 days, and we're told here, say for D, what the younger debtors are. They amount to that. And we're told they operate throughout the year, and we are also told the average debtor weeks. I think we can probably work out what the total debtors are, because if we know what the revenue is, and we know that the revenue of D is 15 million, and we're operating throughout the year, so that is the revenue per week, and the average debtor weeks are 5.8, then the total receivables is going to be 15 million divided by 52 times 5.8, 1673, like that. So in terms of thousands, we were getting rid of that. Basically, it's going to be that 1,000. We know what the younger debtors are, so minus 1,300, minus 321. The debts which are more than 60 days must be 52,000. And as a percentage of the total, what percentage of that, so 52 divided by 1673 is going to be 3%, about 3%. And they seem to be pretty good there on this. So I get that 1 point, I think, like that, yeah. The other ones would be very similar. If we look at L, L's revenue is 18 million divided by 52 times the average debtor weeks there times 4.9. Total debtors for L, I think, is 1696. What do we know about already? Well, we know that there's 1633. So we've got here 63. So the old debts are 63. 63 divided by 1696 gives us a percentage of old debts of 3.7. So that's better than that one as well. So there we are, 1 again. Getting a little bit faster, we have M. The revenue of M is 14 million divided by 52 times the debtor weeks, 5.1. We're dealing in there with 1373 as our total. Let me just get rid of some of this. The receivables we know about is the sum of these two. So it's 1333 of this. Must be 40, and 40 as a percentage of 1373 is less than 3%, so that's going to be a 1 as well. And the final one, we've got 22, the revenue, divided by 52 times the number of weeks, 6.2. So I think we've got 2623 as the total receivables in R. What do we know about? Well, we know about 2552. And so 2552 taken away from 2626. We're left for 74. 74 divided by 2626 is equal to 2.8%. So it looks like it gets 1 as well. They're all doing pretty well there. So what we have done is all of part 1. The only difficult bits were really the debtors. Everything else was just comparing target percentage with actual percentage. And we have to talk about it yet, but basically we have the figures. Here's how they looked in the ACCA model answer. And then we'll think about 2, how to evaluate the relative performance of these. So here is the ACCA answer to part 1 of requirement A. Did you notice that the requirement said write a report? There are some marks going for producing your answer in the format required. So we're asked to evaluate the relative performance of the 4 divisions, and we can quite obviously see that Michelangelo Town has done perfectly, and Raphael Town has done rather miserably, and the other 2 are roughly in the middle. It might be worth, because 5 marks going for this, 9 minutes, we would have to say a little bit more. How can we break it down? Well, the company has said they want to look at the performance of the depots on the 3 different areas. So why not just kind of talk about those? So we could talk about revenue and profit statistics. We could say that the revenue has been exceeded by 3 of them, but Donatello's town revenue is a disappointing one there. The profit percentage, Donatello Town and Michelangelo Town has done better. In terms of customer care, it might be worthwhile just finding out the overall little statistics in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. There's full house, of course. 6 and 1. Well, a huge disparity between Michelangelo Town and Raphael Town. And again, Donatello Town may be doing reasonably well within that. In terms of credit control, these two are kind of perfect, and the other two a bit disappointing, rather similar, I suppose, there. And that's about it. I don't think we can say much other than just say this depot's done good, this one's done badly, this one's reasonable. There's nothing more to say. It's just referring back to the statistics and making sensible comments. Part A3 asks us to assess the company in terms of financial performance, competitiveness, service quality, resource utilization, flexibility and innovation. We have to make sure we cover these. We have to look also at interrelationships, but it would be useful if we'd recognized that what's been talked about here are the Fitzgerald and Moon. The Fitzgerald and Moon building blocks. This is kind of what we want to achieve, and these are what help us to achieve good financial performance. So financial performance and competitiveness depend on service quality, resource utilization, flexibility and innovation. And if we could have remembered that and maybe mentioned Fitzgerald and Moon, undoubtedly there would have been some additional marks. So we have to assess the company in terms of these building blocks, really. And I think the interrelationship between them is that saying good service will result in good financial performance, good resource utilization will result in better financial performance and competitiveness, as might innovation help the final score. So let's see what we might be able to say from our analysis so far. So looking at financial performance, in revenue at any rate, 3 of the depots have done better than was budgeted. Profits, some good news, some bad news on that. Also maybe on profitability, we could look at the credit control and administration efficiency here, and really we've got quite a lot of scores down here. So it would seem that in terms of our financial performance, we're probably doing reasonably well. The second one it asks us for was competitiveness, and competitiveness, we don't have maybe very many statistics to be looking at here, but generally if your revenue increases, you must be being reasonably competitive. And again, we have here 3 of the depots which have been increasing their revenue. It implies that they must be doing fairly well. And the causes of these, the interrelationships that wants us to talk about, service quality. Well, if you're delivering parcels, you don't want to be late, and we might, and we don't want to deliver them incorrectly, and so on. And again, there's kind of mixed messages here in terms of lateness. 2 perform okay, 2 aren't so good in terms of misdirected parcels. 2 are good, 2 aren't so good within that. In terms of response to complaints, well, 3 of them are doing quite well. So they do seem at least to be trying to get on with reasonable kind of after care service if they do make some sort of error earlier on. In terms of the resource utilization, I think probably what we're looking at here is breakdown of vehicles, and that doesn't look very good. 3 out of the 4 centres seem to have problems with breakdowns, and that will undoubtedly interfere with the resource utilisation there. And also, as vehicle breakdowns would probably be interfering with flexibility. You won't be able to send vehicles out quickly in response to a large customer's demands and so on. Oh, and then down at the bottom we've got some more information here, I think dealing with probably quality. Lost items, not too bad, they don't lose things permanently, they seem to be recovered by and large. Damaged items, again pretty good, they don't damage too many. So it might be if they could first of all tighten up this here, late collection and misdirected assignments where it's only half and half, they might be able to improve their competitiveness and their profitability. Innovation, quite difficult I think. It's hard to know how they're being innovative here, except it might be the point system itself that's quite innovative. At least they're not just looking at the financial results. They have spread the net very, very widely and are looking at kind of non-financial performance indicators here, and recognizing that the non-financial performers are essentially the drivers for the financial performers. Part 4 of Section A asks for a critique of the performance measurement system at TSC. A critique is basically saying what might be good and what might be bad about it. The performance measurement system is, we were told, was based on internal benchmarking. In other words, we perhaps look at the best performing depot and we use the performance there as a target for what other people ought to achieve. The difficulty with that is potentially that if even your best performer isn't very good compared to your competitors, you may be still setting inadequate targets. So one potential criticism is, although setting benchmarks is good, we have to make sure that they correspond to what other people are doing, and some form of external benchmarking with other courier companies would either improve this or help us to get some assurance that we were setting high enough targets. Secondly, it says that people are paid a bonus in response to how well they achieve these points and so on. This gives incentive. However, we do need to be careful that people don't begin perhaps misreporting results or manipulating results so that we get the bonuses. There are some good points, however. They have, as was mentioned earlier, been innovative in terms of the very wide range of measures which they are taking. It's gone beyond just simplistic profit measurement, and has begun scratching away at that and essentially says what causes good profits, and what causes good profits is good use of your resources, innovation, pleasing your customer, doing well what you're supposed to be doing, and so on. So it's not a bad system, I would have thought, overall. The final bit of the question asks us to evaluate the potential benefits and problems associated with the use of league tables as a means of measuring performance. We have got a league table system here. No doubt they will be setting it up so that the particularly successful division, the one that got all the ones in it, will be looking pretty good. That was Michelangelo Town at the top of the league and poor old Raphael Town at the bottom of the league. What may be the benefits and problems? Well, without repeating our answer too much to the critiques of performance measurement, a league table, it's thought to make people strive to get towards the top, that if you're way down the league table, you're a bit embarrassed, and is something of a motivator for you. The main disadvantages, or potential disadvantages, come if you feel that the basis on which your position in the leagues is calculated is not fair. Then you can become very resentful. So we have got 4 different depots here, but they may be operating in very different environments, and their different physical environments may, for example, cause different amounts of vehicle breakdown. Perhaps you have to do different numbers of kilometers to cover the ground, and so on. They may be dealing with some people in cities and so on, where it may be slower to get round and deliver your goods. There may be more confusion on addresses. You may have a lot of very small consignments in one of the depots, and a relatively small number of very large consignments in another depot. And unless we're sure that we're comparing like with like, then league tables are sometimes regarded as being a little unfair. For example, in the UK, the government produced league tables for schools, but some schools were defensive about this, saying that most of their pupils were from economically deprived areas, and how could you expect their exam performance to be as good as those from richer areas, and so on. Second point, we get another point, kind of repeating maybe what was in our previous answer. We have to be sure people don't begin manipulating their performance, or even the reporting of their performance, purely to get up the league table. So that there could be, if the league table was very badly constructed, a long-term detrimental effect on the overall company performance.